Hi Scorpio, welcome back to my channel, Karma Fox. I am doing your weekly reading. I hope you're doing well. I do want to take a second to remind you that this is a general reading. It may not resonate with every single Scorpio out there. So guys, take what resonates for you and leave the rest for someone else. Remember, the energies can reverse. So if this is resonating for you, you get in where you fit in, but don't force yourself into a reading that's not for you. Spirit, can I have the energy of the sign of Scorpio? Scorpio. Okay, your energy is popping. You're starting out with the World. You have the Knight of Swords, and you have the Two of Wands. Wow. Yeah, you're going through some changes here. You have some kind of a cycle that's closing out so that you can move into a new cycle here. I feel like right now you kind of have, you know, a foot in both worlds a little bit, but you're definitely closing something out. You're speaking your truth here as well. Be careful how you speak it, Scorpio, because the Knight of Swords speaks truth, but it can sometimes be a little harsh. So just be careful with that. And now you're making plans for this new beginning. Yeah. So your energy is one where you're moving forward in life. Let me see who's in your energy. Show me who is in Scorpio's energy. All right. The person in your energy has the Page of Pentacles, the Ten of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles. You could be dealing with a Taurus, Virgo, or a Capricorn. I do think that this is somebody who is possibly somebody new. They definitely are looking at you, and they're very curious about you, for sure. But I feel like this person is a very good manifester. They have gone through some sort of a painful ending themselves, something that they felt very betrayed in. Might not even be relationship-wise. It could have to do with something that is with their work life. I don't know why I'm getting that, but I definitely am. So I do feel like this is somebody who you're in communication with. This is somebody who, you know, has good manifestational skills. They're very grounded. They likely work very hard. I do feel like this is somebody who is seeking a commitment with you. And again, it does look like new energy. It looks like what you're moving towards, not what you're moving away from. But this person's gone through some kind of a betrayal here. Not necessarily in relationship, but some kind of betrayal. I do feel like they're very grounded. This is a very attractive person. They are very attentive. I'm also seeing that it's possible that they could also have children. And if so, they are actually really good parents as well. This is a person that surrounds themselves with beauty, and they have an affinity for that. They gravitate towards beauty. Let me see the energy between Scorpio and this person. All right, Knight of Wands and the Ace of Swords reverse. So you're trying to communicate with this person, and they're not giving you the clarity, or they don't have the clarity. This could have been an on and off type of relationship. I see you communicating with them, but they don't have the clarity about something. There's definitely communication back and forth. Let me see. Show me what's affecting this connection. The Ten of Wands and the reverse. So what's affecting the connection is that something here has to be resolved. Problems are resolving. There's been a lot of problems with bringing this together, it looks like. Yeah, there's a need for clarity, but I feel like that clarity is coming or has come. Yeah, problems here are resolving. Whatever these problems are with the lack of clarity in particular, lack of communication perhaps, all of that is resolving, and that's going to affect this connection. It's going to help you to close it out, and that's what this person is trying to bring in. They're very inquisitive and they don't feel that they're getting the full story, or they don't feel like they're getting the clarity that they want. Let me see the outcome. Show me the outcome for Scorpio. Two of Swords in the reverse. So that's a decision being made. And it may have taken a while to make this decision. Somebody here was indecisive, going back and forth, and now that decision has been made. I also feel like it's a very emotional decision. Bottom of the deck is the Ten of Pentacles. This is underlying energy. And this does indicate that a couple of things. So one, it indicates that you're thinking from this about this from a long-term perspective. It is also indicating that you feel strongly supported by close friends or possibly family. So and it also indicates that this relationship could go the distance depending upon the decision that's made. So let me clarify. Spirit, why is the World here for Scorpio? Okay, so we have the Three of Cups reversed. We have the Nine of Wands in the reverse. And we have Temperance reversed. So you're trying to find your balance here. Yeah, there's something here that you're not putting effort into, something that made you really unhappy. There were a lot of problems with regard to this. It caused a lot of trust issues. And I do feel like your emotions have been up and down, up and down. I feel like there's still some unhealed energy. This is why you're coming out. This is what you're coming out of. Yeah, you're coming out of it. You're resolving these problems. Those problems could get a little worse before they get better, but you're piece by piece working them out. I do feel that there's still some healing that needs to take place, and your emotions still, can be up and down. I also feel like you will discuss this with the person in your energy. Why is the Knight of Swords here? Why is the Knight of Swords here for Scorpio? For some of you, the Knight of Swords can indicate an attorney. You could have an attorney that is helping you to end something elsewhere. We have the Sun. We have the Four of Swords. Yeah, so you're basically going to speak your truth, and then you're gonna be done with it. You're gonna say, look, because the Sun is clarity. You're gonna speak your truth. You're gonna be very clear, and then you want no more connection, no more discussion. I also feel like, whoever you're moving away from, or whatever, it could be a situation, whatever this cycle is that you're closing out, you have no intention of going back towards it. None. You don't trust that situation. And so I do feel you're going to speak your mind. And this has to do with whatever it is you're closing out. And then you're done. It's like, I said what I said. That's it. I meant what I said. That's it. And you are moving towards your happiness. Let me see the Two of Wands. Show me the Two of Wands. Too many. Show me the Two of Wands for Scorpio. Show me the Two of Wands for Scorpio. Okay, so we have the Chariot. That's it. You're moving forward. Some of you are physically moving. We have the High Priestess. And look at that, the Ace of Cups. You're moving towards love. You're moving towards a new beginning in love. You're making the plans now. You're speaking your truth. You're closing out a cycle here, and you have no intention of going back. You're doing a lot of what you're doing is intuitive as well. You're coming across to others, even this person in your energy, as being somebody that is very mysterious. So, but I feel like it's just because you're trying to create the balance. You're trying to be very clear. You're trying to resolve all of these issues, and then just move forward. And like I said, your energy, Scorpio, is telling me that you're going to be very resolute. You're not going backwards. So let me look at this person's energy. I do feel like this is somebody, or, somebody that you're moving towards. Why is the Page of Pentacles here? Why is the Page of Pentacles here? Queen of Swords, you might be dealing with a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Page of Swords, and the Wheel of Fortune. Wow. All right, so yeah, this person is very, very curious about you. They're very inquisitive. They feel like they're not getting the clarity that they want. But I do feel that this is somebody who is going to communicate with you. They do have good boundaries. They're wondering, are you open to talking about this? And so they're trying to figure that out. They're trying to check and see. But with the Wheel of Fortune here, this person feels extremely fortunate to have you in their life. They feel like that this was divinely orchestrated. So I definitely feel like this person is a good communicator, and they are going to communicate with you because they want the clarity, and that right now they're not getting it. So let me see the Ten of Swords. Why is this Ten of Swords here for the person in Scorpio's energy? Could be dealing with a Capricorn. Okay. All right, so we have the Knight of Wands in the reverse. We have the Devil in reverse, and we have the Five of Wands. So this person has dealt with somebody that was extremely toxic. They may have dealt with somebody that was a player. And I think that they're trying to make sure that they're not dealing with somebody that is of the same energy. So that's why they're watching you so closely. This person in the past, whoever this was that they dealt with, betrayed them. They may have put them in competition with other people. There was a lot of toxic energy. There was a lot of fighting. Possibly somebody, would, create conflict and then go silent on them. But they're not wanting to deal with toxic energy. So I have a suspicion that this person has gone through something. They've really worked on themselves, though. And I do feel like this is someone who doesn't want to go through that same kind of cycle again, which is why they have their boundaries up really high. So, but I do think they're a good communicator. So let me see this Queen of Pentacles. Why is the Queen of Pentacles here? King of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy, and the Tower in reverse. Yeah, this person went through a Tower moment with somebody here from the past, and I do feel like they don't want to deal with toxic energy. So are they attracted to you? Oh, very, very attracted to you. This is somebody, like I said, that works very hard. They want commitment with you, but they had to work so hard, Scorpio, to rebuild their life that they don't want to go back through that again. I do feel like this is somebody, though, that is attractive, somebody who is definitely very dynamic, and they're a go-getter. And I do feel like they're also very grounded. They're very passionate about things, but they have the ability to bring it into the 3D. They don't just sit and dream about stuff. They actually manifest it. But I feel like they're trying to avoid going through another Tower moment. And somehow that's centered around this decision that is going to be made. So let me see. Show me the energy between Scorpio and this person. Yeah, you're dealing with somebody that has gone through some things that, caused this person a lot of difficulty in the past. And I just feel like they're guarded because they don't want to go through that again. But they are going to communicate all this with you. All right, so you have the Nine of Swords in the reverse. We have the Four of Cups reversed. And the Ten of Wands. Yeah, so that's the problem. This person, according to this person, the lack of clarity is causing them to be very, very nervous. Now, are you both thinking about each other? Yes. Are you both saying, I think that this could be a great, relationship? Yes. You're both identifying this as, a potential for a long-standing good relationship. But you've both gone through something. I feel like whatever they went through is more in the past, and you're now breaking out of something as well. And so I feel like it's making this person nervous. Yeah, because they don't want to go through the past again. And both of you feel that this could really be a good relationship. Now, the communication is going to it's going to alleviate the anxiety. It's going to alleviate the fears. I feel like you're going to communicate to this person that right now your emotions are kind of all over the place, but that you are closing this out and you are not going back. And that all these problems that are here can be worked out. They can be resolved. What's affecting the situation is the Ten of Wands in reverse. They have the Ten of Wands in the upright, and it's directly centered around this lack of communication and a lack of clarity. So I do feel like they're going to bring it up with you, and I feel like you're going to, address it. You're going to talk with them. Let me see what the Ten of Wands is in reverse. Show me the Ten of Wands reverse. Show me what's affecting the connection. All right, so we have the Two of Pentacles reverse, and we have the Two of Cups. Again, this person will be the one to reach out to you, and they're going to explain their position. Look, I went through all this toxic energy. I just can't do that again. You and your energy, I do feel like you have been kind of keeping a lot to yourself, but I do feel like you're going to have a very truthful conversation with this person. I see you're the one who's making the decision as well. And that decision here is to work out these problems, things that haven't been discussed, haven't been talked about. It's going to immediately release the anxiety that's here as well. I just feel like this person is just getting scared. Because the closer you move to resolving whatever this is from the past, the more they're going to be like, oh, wow, this is really happening. And I just don't want to go through another bad situation. So right now you're still a little bit unbalanced, possibly financially. But also I see an imbalance in the emotions as well. Whatever you've gone through, Scorpio, has been a pretty big ordeal. This person is in love with you. But I do feel like they don't want to go through what they went through in the past. So let me see your outcome. Show me the outcome for Scorpio. Show me the outcome for Scorpio. Okay, so we have the Page of Cups. We have the King of Swords. There's that discussion. And there's the Two of Swords in the upright. So yeah, this person's going to ask you to make a decision here. They're going to ask you to make a decision, and it looks like it's taken them a while to get to this question, but they want to know, do you want to solidify this? Are you going to commit to this? My guess is, yes, you are. So I see the King of Swords here. This is a big conversation, a very truthful conversation that's going to take place. I also see that this could be a divine partner or a soulmate of some sort. And I do feel like the two of you have a lot in common. Yeah, very strong Gemini energy is here. I do feel like for some of you, you may apologize for keeping things to yourselves or to yourself. But you may have felt like, you just needed to handle that before you could move forward. For others of you, I do see there is this energy of you extending yourself. You have feelings for this person. And I do feel like this is a new person in your energy, or new versus whatever you're closing out. I'm also seeing that they're going to ask you to make this decision, and they're kind of afraid to do so. Honestly, because they don't want to go through another tower moment, but they're going to approach you. They're going to open up the conversation, and they're going to ask you to make a decision about whether or not you're committed to this connection. And I feel like your answer is going to be yes. I see you moving forward with this full-fledged. I see you choosing this person, which I don't think for you was as much of a it seems like this person is reacting because of things that they've gone through in the past. In your energy, it looks like you were always slowly moving in this direction. So, but take it as it resonates. I do see this coming together though. And I do see you making a decision. And I see this, it's going to be based upon this conversation that's going to be taking place. Bottom of the deck is the Emperor. And that's very good energy as well. It is indicating that, well, you could be dealing with an Aries, but it is indicating someone here is going to take control of the situation. Somebody who is very mature, somebody who wants commitment, somebody who is dedicated to the connection and is thinking long term. Also, for some of you, there could be someone who is a father or a father figure that could be affecting, you know, the energy in some manner. But yeah, I see somebody taking control of the situation, and I see a really good outcome. So let me see if there's any advice for Scorpio from the Oracle cards. Okay, let's see what we've got. Okay, you have number 5. So you're definitely going through some changes. 5s are generally about change. And it says goblins. Okay, so let's see what that's about. I have an idea, but I don't want to say it until I know. Yep, here it is. Fear is an illusion. Choose love today. Forgive yourself and others. Goblins are born when you're wounded and something essential is lost in that experience. From that point on, as you forget your wholeness, they remain with you in the shadows. There, they remind you of what brought them into being by mimicking your own voice, tricking you into believing that you're unworthy, victimized, or unlovable. They hold you hostage through low self-worth, self-sabotage, and the feeling that you're lacking what you need. If goblins pay you a visit, know that they represent the shadow of your own self or someone else's, and that they're leading you into a potentially reactive situation. A goblin's card appearance is an opportunity for growth and a signal that you must love yourself. No human is without flaws. The goblin's message is that you must release resentments and negative self-talk. Within you is a spark of the divine. Ask Spirit to help heal you. Miracles can and do happen. Let go of the negativity. So, yeah, this conversation is going to be very revealing. You know, my advice to you, Scorpio, is to take what the Oracle cards just said to you, because I feel like it's this person who's dealing with these goblins. And I do feel that if you have the sensitivity to that, the two of you can work this through in a way that both parties feel heard, feel seen, and feel appreciated. All right, I hope that this has been helpful for you. If you've resonated with this reading, Scorpio, be sure to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and hype the video as well as if you get the opportunity. Until I see you in your next reading, Scorpio, know that you are loved, and namaste.